This is Professor L.B. Gaikwad's English Literature Web. I am Professor L.B. Gaikwad is discussing today the topic lecture number 368. The topic is Death Be Not Proud by Donne. Here, before going to the topic, I will request you all to like and subscribe my channel. The second request is that to see all the notes which I have put there in the description box. Now we will go to the topic. At first we will discuss on the introduction. The introduction tells that John Donne, born in 1752 in England, has written this poem. He is known as the founder of the Metaphysical School of Poetry. This term has been coined by Samuel Johnson, the 18th century English critic, essayist, poet, and philosopher, who has called them loose poetry with conceit and more spoken variety than literary quality. So remember here, according to Samuel Johnson, this metaphysical poetry is the poetry of looseness, that is, they have used the conceit, and this conceit has made it very much loose, and they have used only the spoken variety, and they have not used the literary quality there in the poems. John Donne is popular for paradoxical images, subtle argument, inventive syntax, imagery, philosophy, metaphor as conceit, and religion, with which he has acquired the highest stage of philosophical thoughts. Remember, this John Donne has gone to the philosophically greatness only because of the science just we have seen. Here he surely says that death is not powerful, so he is man's slave because he gives man salvation serving him. Now we are discussing about the body of the poem. In the body of the poem, we see that John Donne says death should not be proud, though some call him mighty and dreadful. He says death is not mighty and dreadful, though he kills people so easily, and people are dolls in his hands. Remember here, the point is that the death comes to man and he kills people, and that's why according to some persons this death is very mighty and dreadful, but John Donne says that this death is not mighty and dreadful. He says death is poor, he cannot kill the poet and people also. The poet challenges here the death. Thus he is totally unable to kill man and even other life on the planet. John Donne says that there is no capacity of this death to kill the person on the earth. Rest and sleep are the phases of the death as per the poet. It means the rests and sleeps. It means that the man rests and sleeps there in the death, in the sense of death, or in the form of death, or the death rests and sleeps, people permanently coming to them. But these rests and sleep of the dead provide much pleasure to man's life. It means the life goes permanently away from cares of life on the planet, and the earth comes to man and gives permanent rest and sleep. So the death is man's servant, as he does like a servant. Suddenly, the best men do die. It means the best man dies and dies. They cannot live on the earth. And they die leaving everything behind, and they take nothing with them. Their bones rest and soul is free. It means the death gives salvation to them. So the death, like servant, makes man free permanently from this materialistic life. So death cannot be mighty and dreadful. By learning this, we know that the poet calls death a slave to fate, chance, kings, and hopeless men. It means he comes to men who look fate, chance, kings, and hopeless men because they suffer from problems of fate and chance. The death kills such men who drink poison, defeat in war, or in sickness, so he is an escapist, a common one, or a thief, as per the poet, as he steals men from beautiful life. The flower, poppy, or charms make men sleep, thus only he charms men for forgetting sufferings of the time, so he is nothing but a common flower like the poppy. Poppy's stroke is more than death's stroke, so the death shouldn't be proud because the dead men wake up eternally as if one sleep passes with a permanent salvation. With the literary arguments of John Donne, the death remains nowhere, so it is the death of the death. It means that here death dies, but man never dies. Man goes to eternal peace. It is the death of the dead and not the death of man. Thus, John Donne respects and challenges the death. Means here, John Donne gives respect to the death also and challenges also the death. Means he gives a challenge to the death that this death is nothing before man. Now, we are going to the conclusion. Being the priest and dean of St. Paul's Cathedral in London, he has written this religious poem on the character of death. This poem is from Holy Sonnets, the anthology of 19 poems. He has followed the Petrarchan sonnet of 14 lines, 8 plus 6 is equal to 14 lines in octave and sestet pattern. Rhyme scheme of AB, BA, AB, BA of the first stanza and CD, DC, EE of the second stanza. The poet says, death shouldn't be proud because it is a short sleep of eternal life to man. Death is momentary like the smell of the poppy flower. Death is like a happy life messenger because the soul frees man, stopping body and cares of materialistic life and goes to heaven, the real home of man. So he cannot be man's enemy, he can be the friend of man. Death is not a final power because God sends him to end man's earthly life. The birth punishment on earth ends here with death, so death cannot be man's enemy. To provide salvation to man, death has to die permanently. John Donne destroys the fear of dying from common man's mind with spiritual and religious philosophy, though the poet seems opposite of death, but in reality he increases death's importance. Here we have today finished the topic. Again we will be in front of each other with a new topic. Till then, thank you very much.